Hello, friends! Welcome back, and thank you for joining us here today for episode 15 of A Detoured Path, where we firmly believe that sometimes the only thing we all really need in life is just a little reroute. My name is Chelsea Marie Mauger, and I'll be your host here today and every day on A Detoured Path. So to all our new and returning listeners out there, if you're finding yourself in need of a little reroute, or already meandering down that unforeseen pathway in life, whether by choice, force, or somewhere in between, or just interested in possibly thinking about things a little bit differently, this could be the show for you. We will be sharing personal accounts, stories, and a variety of perspectives in order to help us all gain a greater sense of community and connectivity in this little thing we call life. Just a little disclaimer before we begin. Though we do try to keep a mostly G and or PG rating here at A Detoured Path, we are discussing life, and life is not always G and or PG rated. That's just something to keep in mind in case you are listening with any little itty-bitty tater-tots present. Chelsea, tell me a story. Be the pointed arrow, steady like a beam, laser-ready focused, evading sways that stream. Toxic indecision, lurking in the dark. No shouts or screams of warning, just quiet, gentle sparks. The embers growing redder, the flames do rise throughout. Caution has me speechless, till all the flames go out. The heat does stab me harder, I'm trying not to move, but she does like her power. I think I've wrecked her little groove. She wants me to stay frozen. Some ice she'll melt away, but that's when I lose feeling. My legs begin to sway. The smoke is getting stronger, its billows full and dark. She only gets her jollies when stealing all my spark. She is indecision, and she only gets her jollies by stealing all my spark. Without my spark, she cannot expand. She cannot grow. She needs my sparks, because without them she has absolutely no impetus of her own to grow into a roaring, raging fire. Instead, she dies. She simply dies. She is no catalyst. She is not a mitochondrion. She is a leech, and she is a bully. And she is not our friend. There could be death by a sword or death by a knife, but neither is needed because I ignored out your life. I ignored out your life. What do you mean? What do you mean I ignored out your life? What do you mean you ignored out Indecision's life? I mean, I gave you no attention. I refused to notice you. I disregarded you intentionally, and I failed to acknowledge that you were even there. So therefore, you disappeared. It would be very nice if we all had a magic 8-ball that would accurately spit out what would happen if we made one decision or another. If you go this way, then this will happen. If you go that way, then that will happen. If we choose choice A, then blank would happen. No, I don't like choice A. I don't like that result. Okay, then let's input choice B. No, thank you. I still don't like that end result. Okay, fine. How about we input choice C? It would be oh so addictively useful if we could all just pick and choose what our appropriate course of action could or should or would be in any given set of circumstances before events ever even came through to fruition. But I imagine most of us don't have that amazing magic 8-ball hiding out there in our back pocket, ready and willing to pull out on command. Instead, it is so much more easy to be indecisive and have somebody else make the decision for us, or say that we will just let the universe decide for us, because that way we only have to make a decision when it is absolutely necessary. When we constantly lean on someone or something else to make our decisions, it or them become a crutch. And what happens when somebody swipes that crutch out from under us? We fall. And we fall hard. We never learn to trust ourselves or our own intuition. It is possible that we may be indecisive because, to our core, we really don't know what to do, and we are holding out for that perfect right answer. But there may not be a perfect right answer. There may not even be only one answer, let alone only one answer that is quote unquote right. One decision may not be the magic answer to our prayers. One decision may not solve everything. There may not even be one single event or multiple of events that can change everything for the better or prevent catastrophic occurrences from ever even happening. We all like to think that there is this magic unicorn out there ready to solve everything. But when horses are the majority rather than the minority, it may just be statistically in our favor to pick something. Anything. Our intuition is there for us to listen to it, not for us to not listen to it. Sometimes we just have to make a decision. Any decision. Sometimes we just have to pick something. Anything. Sometimes we just have to grab the bull by the horns and go. By ignoring our natural tendency to be indecisive and forcing ourselves to make a decision, we resume being an active state and we take back our control. Control is active. Indecision is inactive. Action is moving. Inaction is not moving. If we are not moving, then we cannot go forward, and we might as well be stuck drowning in quicksand. Yes, sometimes making a decision can be difficult, especially when it feels like there are no playing cards stacked in our favor. But that also doesn't mean we shouldn't try. Everyone has their strengths, and everyone has their areas that are opportunities for improvement. A person's vice could be too much alcohol, drugs, sex, gambling, shopping, food, TV, caffeine, sleeping, etc. But it could also be the inability to make a decision. Does this dialogue sound at all familiar? Oh, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not going to think about that right now. I can't think about that right now. I don't need to think about that right now. I don't need to figure it out. I don't need to figure it out now. I don't need to figure any of it out now. It will just figure itself out. If I just walk away and not think about it, it will just work itself out. Whatever is meant to happen is going to happen, so I don't have to take any action in order to rectify the situation. Good things don't happen to me. They happen to other people, but they don't happen to me. Those people might just be lucky, I guess. It will be better if I just leave it alone. I should probably stay in my own lane. I'll just do what I know. I probably shouldn't speak up. No. It will be better if I just leave it alone. Oh, it will it? Are you sure about that, self? Do you really want to give up any and all control over to someone or something else? Does that really coincide with your must do everything, get everything done, must be everything, must see everything, must experience everything, must conquer everything yourself type A personality that you so claim to be? Do you really want as little to say in the course and direction of your life as a 5-year-old would? No, I don't think so. I don't think you do. Okay, self. What then do we do in order to make sure that we don't lean on what is easy, aka the act of not making a decision, and actually go and make one? Don't you worry, self. We have options here. And if we didn't have any options, then we would make some. Okay, self. First question. Do you have any gut instincts that are being stuffed back down into the pit of no return? Is the very intuitive portion of our self just begging and screaming to make an appearance and will happily rejoice to have its presence recognized and come out and play? If so, is that part of being self shushed, silenced, and quieted into submission? Are we saying, no, don't speak up, don't be too loud, don't let anybody hear you, you can't be noticed? No, you will not be noticed. You don't want anyone to notice you. Are we afraid of what may happen if we actually let that part of ourself have a voice and set them free? If we let them out, would we actually know what to do? By not letting them speak, are we simply avoiding what we know is right? Or what we know we want? Or what we know we need because we are dreading what could or might come next? If that is the case, why are we dreading it? Do we think it will be uncomfortable? Do we think we'll be uncomfortable? Do we think we will be out of control? Are we afraid we might lose ourselves? Are we afraid of change? Are we concerned we might disagree with what we have been taught to believe? At the end of the day, does it really even matter if we do go against what we have been taught to believe? If, worst case scenario, we are deserted by one tribe because we have chosen a new course and route, we can always join a different one that is more in line with our actual real life thoughts, beliefs, and values. Or better yet, we could start our own tribe, a new one that hasn't even been realized yet. We might actually even be better off if that first tribe did desert us. Because if they hadn't, we might never have ever realized our true potential. Great! Okay, that scenario turns out well, but what happens if we don't actually have any gut instincts leading us any way or another? What happens when we stare down that long metaphorical life path and ask, okay, self, do I go left or do I go right? And nothing comes to us. What happens when our self goes silent? The next course of action I like to dive into is the examination of how I feel about a given set of circumstances or environmental factors. Am I elated or overjoyed? Or does going down one path actually legitimately make me want to vomit in my mouth? If I were to fully act out the entire situation in my head from beginning to end, is my whole being screaming, stop, please don't, for the love of God, no? If it is, well then, there we go. We have our answer. But if it isn't, and we also aren't going, yes, this is it. This is definitely it. I would love to go here. I would love to do that. This is definitely a magical path that was laid at my feet and I am meant to follow it. This is my dream come true. This is absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much. Are we at least saying, I could do this. I could go this way. I could handle this. I could handle this for the time being. If absolutely none of these apply to us, and we have absolutely no feeling one way or another about a given set of circumstances, what do we do then? We move on to choice C, aka we start weighing all the options. Enter, from out of the darkness, through the mist and fog, left brain logical side onto the stage of our life. Someone please whip out your pros and cons list now, please. And pronto. This is also the section of our diagramming and analysis that I like to refer to as the advice we would give to somebody else. Giving someone else advice is always so much easier than giving ourselves advice. It is always so much more quote unquote clear and obvious to read the signs and answers in someone else's life rather than our own. Do you like tea? Great. Let's save the leaves, and I can tell you everything you need to know about your life and everything you are doing wrong in your life, and I can tell you this simply after having one conversation with you. Yeah. Okay. But still, when it comes to your life, everything is, of course, so obvious to me. Well, yes. Of course. Oh, you most definitely should do this. Oh, no. You most definitely shouldn't do that. No, this is what you should do. No. I wouldn't do that if I were you. Oh, come on. Why on earth would you do that? Oh, please. I can tell you everything you need to know about your life. Don't you worry. And I can tell you everything that is wrong with it. But wait. You want me to focus on my own life? Oh, no. Somehow, when it comes to concerning myself with my own life, I simply go blank. You'd like me to focus on fixing my own problems, issues, and conundrums? Oh, no, thank you. That would simply be too much. And here, exactly here, this is when and where I like to pretend I'm talking to somebody else. Someone other than myself, and see what actually good advice comes up. Hey, little girl, what do you see? A vision, a mirage, or just a fantasy? Getting stressed in your head, stuck filled with dread, can't see the answers because of the worries you've wed. What's right in front? What's there in sight? Don't make excuses with what ifs and mights. Assess the situation, what is actually there. Turn off the cortisol and give yourself air. Move through the world slightly detached for a bit. Notice if things really matter. That's it. That's it. What do you mean, that's it? You mean if I wasn't really all that detached? Attached? If I wasn't really all that attached to any specific outcome, set of circumstances, or order in which I think things are supposed to come, appear, or present themselves, it would make it a whole lot easier and clearer to see things for what they really are, and therefore make it so much more manageable and less overwhelming to make a well-informed decision on what to do next. Wait. What? That sounds amazing. That sounds absolutely amazing. I am dumbfounded. Absolutely and completely dumbfounded. It sounds like you have literally and completely laid out an entire course and plan of action for me to follow and take bit by bit. This is amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you ever so much. I am beyond grateful. Beyond grateful. She was as gracious as a lion. Her cup began to flow. What once may have stumped her did not now stop her go. Thank you so much for your time and attention thus far. We are just going to take a brief moment to recognize today's sponsor, Anchor, for providing a free platform for people like myself to get their podcast off the ground. With little to no previous technical know-how, Anchor makes the whole process pretty straightforward. Go to anchor.fm, that's ANCHOR.FM, or download the free Anchor app today to get started. With just a click of a button, you too can be heard on multiple platforms. What once may have stopped her did not now stop her go. Wow. I think we just grew here. I think we just got a little bit more confident. I think we just outsmarted our formerly primitive selves. It's amazing what a little cognitive trickery with ourselves, for ourselves, can do for us in the long run. Imagine if we didn't grow. Imagine if we analyzed, overanalyzed, and re-overanalyzed everything to the point of exhaustion, and it kept us frozen, still, immobile, stuck, and all because we simply could not make the conscious effort to remove ourselves as a first-party participant in our current set of circumstances in order to see more clearly what a third-party person would. We wouldn't take that next big job promotion, which could have been the best thing that has ever happened to us. We wouldn't move to that new place we have always wanted to live, which actually could bring us the greatest happiness we have ever known. We wouldn't travel on that dream vacation, even though it is possible that it might bring us a sense of fulfillment we have only ever seen in our imaginations. We wouldn't take the necessary steps. We wouldn't take the giant leaps. We wouldn't do anything out of the ordinary or very specific norm we have come to habitually acquire. I will say that last part one more time. We wouldn't do anything outside of the very specific norm we have come to habitually acquire. There would be no chances taken. Nothing new would or could be discovered. There would be a sameness that permeated everything we did. Things would probably eventually get pretty boring. Things would probably eventually get really, really boring. We would probably start doing things by rote. We'd probably start feeling like robots. We might even feel like we were in a factory repeating the same steps after steps after steps on an assembly line. Thoughts of beautiful exotic lands would only exist in our imaginations. We might actually even become entirely detached from the very life we were living. We might begin to feel numb and immune to anything and everything that might actually change the trajectory of our life for the better. What if, in the blink of an eye, all this changed? What if, in the blink of an eye, all this could change and we didn't even notice it? It would be the difference between a life of mediocrity and one of extreme and utter bliss and abundance. And the only thing standing in our way was a fear of what we might end up doing, that we might end up making the wrong decision. Can I get the only thing we have to fear is fear itself, please, and thank you, Franklin Roosevelt's inaugural address. Thank you. Amen. And friends, I believe that is all we have time for today. Thank you so much for joining us from wherever or whenever you are doing so today. Feel free to comment, message, support, donate, and subscribe on whichever and whatever platform you are joining us from today. We are available and searchable internationally on 21 platforms, but going directly to our host platform, Anchor, is the best way to stay in the know and get connected. That's anchor.fm/a-detoured, DETOURED-path, PATH. Leave a review and or rating if you liked what you heard, and hit subscribe to get all the latest podcast updates and information. By choosing to support and donate, your generous contributions will help to continue the workflow, volume, and frequency of A Detoured Path, so that we can continue to flood your airways on a more regular basis. Let's help bring back a demand for creative art and creative artists again. And if you feel like someone you know could really benefit from listening to today's episode, please feel free to share it and pass it along. In the meantime, if you're looking for more thoughts, stories, and insights while you're waiting for the next episode of A Detoured Path to come out, you can find the book Short Girl Diaries, unedited and Grammatically Incorrect by Chelsea Marie Mauger. Last name is spelled capital M-A-U-G as in great, E-R as in red, which is available on Amazon in both print and Kindle formats, as well as through the Kindle Unlimited program where you can read pages for free. We have also recently become a contributor for Medium.com, and articles in spoken word can be found at Chelsea-Marie-Mauger.medium.com. Come find us on Instagram by following at Chelsea Marie Mauger, all one word, CHELSEAMARIE-MAUGER. Stop by and say hi. Say the podcast sent you. And if you find yourself stimulated to write after listening to one of the topics discussed on A Detoured Path, we now have the perfect remedy. We have just launched quite a slew of journals available for purchase on Amazon. All you have to do is type Chelsea Marie Mauger into your search engine and a plethora of journal choices will pop up. We are adding more selections every day, so be on the lookout for new additions to add to your collection. So, until next time, my name is Chelsea Marie Mauger, and you've been listening to A Detoured Path, where we firmly believe that sometimes the only thing we all really need in life is just a little reroute.